Greetings and salutations here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon in California. Reporting again from my house here in Rockland outside of Sacramento. And we've had a lot of things happen. We took a break for the Thanksgiving celebration here a couple of weeks ago. And in the meantime, the organization, the company that we run, the parent company that owns the FTU, Frequent Traveler Events, had a loyalty summit in Washington, D.C. And today, so that was last week, and today we're back in the office here in California, and we wanted to chat. We have a long list of things we wanted to talk about today, as there has been a lot of news and a lot of stuff happening in the miles and points world. And with that in mind, we're going to start right off the bat with the news of the week. And yeah, thanks to everybody who has sent the reactions about making American great again. So I have a red hat on, but it's the Jet Lag Club from Narita, a hat that I got from John Decker, my dear friend John Decker out there in Arizona, who sent that to me back not that long ago. And one of my favorite hats. So I wore the red hat, but it has nothing to do with the MAGA movement. We're going to talk about making American great again. And I couldn't find anybody else better to do this with me today than to bring in my friend and also Loyalty Summit Conference Chair, David Feldman, who agreed to talk about making American great again. How are you, David? You got to turn off the...
I got to get the mute off. There we go. Hey, Tommy. Making American great again. You know, it's funny. We had the Loyalty Summit just last week in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And 2 weeks before in London, full of industry and loyalty program leaders. And whilst the topic of the leadership changeover at American wasn't there, we certainly did talk about the changes to the Advantage program. So we may not have used the phrase making American great again, but it was definitely topical.
Exactly. I thought it was a good talking point, and everybody had a chuckle. But it is the first time I've actually received feedback from multiple people. What are you talking about? Oh, this is not right. You're going to change the title. You know what? We're not going to change the title. If the humor is lost on people, then that's fine. People who know me know that I'm not part of that movement, not even close. But yeah, so. This kind of brings me a little bit back to when Scott Kirby went to United. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, my God, he's going to come in. And we knew that Oscar with his heart attack, it was a little sketchy. We didn't know where that was going to go. Scott, and also, to be honest with you, it seemed like Oscar was kind of a little bit, surrounded by some guys. And Scott Kirby came in as the strong guy. And Scott Kirby has always been the strong guy in organizations previously. Are you as shocked as me how well Scott is doing with United?
I wouldn't have put my money on it this direction. I pleasantly surprised maybe is the right answer. I mean, I have to say impressed. No, I can go further than that. I'll say I'm genuinely impressed. I mean, you and I obviously speak regularly with senior management at United and the leadership, the program there at Mileage Plus, amongst other departments. Look, nobody has a bad word to say about Scott, and not for fear of it getting back to him that they said it. It's genuine, genuine impresses his leadership, his ability to. One of the common themes we hear is his ability to, honestly, be able to have his mind changed. And right. Considering he's known as Mr. Spreadsheet, he's been very open-minded at United to being persuaded that perhaps there's better ways of doing things.
Yeah, I used to call him $2 Coke Kirby back in the days when he started charging for water and drinks at U.S. Airways back in the days. But I got to tell you, it's very rare that I have to eat my words. But I think that Scott Kirby is great for United. He's done a phenomenal job, and he is right now he is my highest respected CEO here in North America. The way that he's gotten that company together. Finished off all of those deals that internal union deals and all that stuff, and cleaning up the mess and getting the culture to kind of pull together in the same direction is something that American definitely needs, and also, but he has succeeded there. So I'm taking my hat off to Scott for sure, and proving me wrong. And is that what the way we're going to see now? Are we going to see Isom come in and do the same thing, change the whole thing around, or is he going to keep?
So.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Look, I think with Bob Isom taking over from Doug Parker, it's meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Look, I think 2 observations. Number one, when Scott left, well, let's go back 5 years to the advantage changes of 2016. And obviously that was a big upset. Everyone sort of wanted to see what the new US Airways management of American was going to do. Before the merger. Most people would have awarded American the most improved award a couple of years running there. You could even take a regional, and flight attendants would come up and thank you for your loyalty, and the culture at American people, the employees seem to feel it was moving in the right direction. 2016 comes along, Advantage gets gutted, but not in any innovative way like Delta at least did. This time was carbon copy of United and Delta. So, last mover advantage. Anyone who plays poker knows American. Why on earth would you just give up your advantage there? However, excuse the pun. When Scott left, I think a lot of people thought, hey, Scott's gone. Now American can right the ship. It was well known Scott micromanaged those advantage changes. The truth is they didn't. They didn't take any opportunity to do that whatsoever. They made really oddball decisions, further devaluing the program. Now in the last 18 months, Rick Isom came in during the pandemic, and honestly, the best changes to have happened to Advantage in years has been under his stewardship, which was only about 12 or 14 months long. But amazing things, anything from removing award reinstatement fees to providing benefits to new enrollees in the program, even first-time flyers. It's hard to point to a bad decision or change that's happened in the last 12, 15 months. Right. Now obviously the pandemic was the cause of a lot of that. So the $60 million question that you pose is, okay, Bob Isom taking over from Doug Parker, what's going to happen? Truth is they're cut from the same cloth. Bob is a Doug Parker apprentice. He doesn't know any differently.
Well, wait a minute, but so was Scott Kirby.
Yes.
I mean, they worked together a long time.
That's true, but Scott moved to United, different airline, different management team, different culture. And you're right, he grew into the role, he stepped up, he received a lot of executive coaching. But he really opened his mind. Look, I don't want to say never, but if I had to put $100 on it right now, I'd be betting 99-1 against Bob putting American back on the map.
Yeah, I'm afraid I agree. And I mean, flying American right now, it's like nobody likes working there. And I think that's not nobody, but very few people that I meet out there comes across to me as they like being there. And
the challenge for American is simple, is investors are as generalizations over the last couple of years, and this really hasn't changed. Investors are unhappy, customers are unhappy, and staff are unhappy. Basically nobody's happy. So I don't know how you change that, because
I know that Doug's happy with all the stock options, though.
Well, look, and in fairness, look, let's be fair to Doug here. Everybody that knows him says he's a nice guy. I have no reason to doubt that he's a nice guy and is well intentioned. But the truth of the matter is even his own
irrelevant. That's
even his own stock option balance isn't as good as it should have been, or it was a few years ago.
No, the company is underperforming. It's underperforming financially. It's underperforming on the stock market. It's underperforming in all sorts of the parameters you and I have to look at, not just the guys out there doing the stuff. We're also talking about looking at the numbers. And Gary Leff wrote about this a couple years ago, and they're literally and substantiated his claim. They're not able to make money on flying planes in the environment we had 2 years ago. And that's kind of impossible when there's no competition here in the US.
Look, as you know, Joe Donati and I did a lot of work on this on the financial side of things over a number of years.
Right.
And I've certainly shared a lot of that work with Gary, and he's sort of shared his insights and thoughts as well. And, so I 100% agree with Gary on that. And Gary's analysis was spot on.
Yeah, I know you guys did it too, and it's exactly what you guys have been saying too throughout the years. And
it's 100, but his analysis is 100% spot on. Is there has been several periods of time where the numbers are clear as day that they're losing money flying planes and only showing any sort of profitability or positive margin thanks to the program, or as Doug Parker would call it, the card program. You and I would call it the loyalty program. So, look, there are periods that that hasn't been the case. There have been some positive margins. Look, I don't know what they do. I mean, I think American is a rock and a hard place situation because honestly, the boat's not going to turn around until the internal culture improves. And I don't know what they have to do to improve the internal culture. Now, it might be with Doug leaving that it's a circuit breaker and the unions and the staff, give Rob Isom an opportunity. And that might start turning things around. I just don't see it though.
No, I completely agree. I think it'll be very tough, and I think that the situation that American is in with the pilots and everything else. I mean, I was when somebody who's like me who sits down and I'm debating with myself. I put a lot of money on credit cards for the various companies that I run every year, and I had to have a debate with myself. My way of renewing their top tier was to put 15,000 on a credit card. And their credit cards are so bad when it comes to earning that I didn't even have one. So I had to sign up for one. And so then it became, I waited and I waited and I waited. I finally decided to do it. And by putting $15,000 on a credit card, I renewed my executive platinum status.
You know what, though? There's a few others like you.
I mean, I'm as valuable in the upgrade line as anybody else from the get-go, which is, there are so many strange things that doesn't make sense to me and to us. I just, I'm afraid I agree. I mean, it had, such potential leading into, after bankruptcy with lots of new planes, great business class, hard products, flagship lounges, Krug champagne, and all of those beautiful.
What if the napkins? Remember the napkins you got? What was it? A new plane every week that was printed on.
Yeah. I remember that.
There was a real buzz.
It was such a positive buzz, and I remember we had the One World Megado back in 2012, 13 or 12. Back then when that was happening, and it was such a positive energy with that company, and it is just such a sad state of affairs. But we will wish Doug a happy retirement.
Absolutely.
And, a job done, well done, or to an extent. I'm not the one who's, I'm not going to be a sofa CEO running an airline with 80,000 employees or however many there are. Is not the easiest thing in the world, but we'll say that, and we'll say best of luck to Isom, and think that hope that he will maybe give Scott Kirby a little bit of run for his money. How about that?
Look, let's give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here for a moment.
Let's do that.
We think about the last 18 months, Bob has been president. Vasaraj has got moved up to chief revenue officer, oversaw Advantage. He oversaw Rick Iceland, and the changes that we've seen over the last, 15 months or so. That direction has been positive. Now, everyone's going to have an opinion on the new loyalty points strategy, but let's give American credit here for being innovative and not just copying, although they copied the $18,000 threshold essentially from United. But the point is, this may work very well for American. And in the Loyalty Summit last week in DC and 2 weeks before in London, one of the themes that came through when the American Advantage changes was being discussed is, look, most professionals in the industry are looking at this saying it's a relatively positive development. The only question mark is whether the thresholds are in the right place and whether perhaps loyal customers are being priced out of requalifying for status. Now, if they are, that can be corrected. The data will reveal that. Promotions can certainly assist with that. We'll see what happens as things sort of settle into a new equilibrium. It may not be a disaster, and we should give Bob Isom credit for the fact that this has all happened under his watch as president of the airline. So there may be, for Advantage flyers, members, little customers that are watching this, as we are, we're not trying to play armchair CEO. We're really representing flyers in the loyalty angle here. I think it is a case of watch this space. You never know what's going to happen. And look, depending on where you're located, if you're in Dallas, if you're in Miami, you know, you don't really have much of a choice.
Right.
So, you know, fingers crossed.
Right. Yeah, we wish them the best of luck, and we have a lot of friends that work there, so we hopefully they will help pull this in the right direction. It's an exciting move with the Advantage program. I completely agree with that. And like you said, we did get a lot of feedback on that. It's kind of the way that we see what we would like to say hashtag next gen loyalty. It's kind of moving into new territories and interesting territories that you and many others have been talking about for many years already. So I think that it's good to be innovative. I think that's great, and I wish them the best of luck. And thanks for joining me, David. And we'll chat a little bit later. Thanks for coming by. Cheers.
Thanks, Tommy.
All right, so that was American Airlines and David Feldman talking about American Airlines. You can also take a peek at if you want to see some of the sessions from the Loyalty Summit. We put those out on YouTube. Just search for Loyalty Summit, 2 words on YouTube, and you'll see the videos from the sessions last week. We have a couple of really interesting that's already up there with Mark Nasser and Scott O'Leary and Derek Whitworth and their legal counsel chatting about the experience of Aeroplan. And for those who are interested in that, many of you have probably done status match with Aeroplan and a trip to Canada in the last few months. And there are some good videos there, some good sessions. So feel free to look that up if you find that interesting. All right. So we're going to move into bring Jamie on board. And Jamie's coming in from, are you in Baltimore?
Baltimore now.
Baltimore.
Moving up in the world.
On your new gig.
Or down. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, no kidding. No. But you had a nice place over there in DC, and yeah, you also were helping us out and working at the Loyalty Summit last week in DC and in London 2 weeks before that. So, what do you think about the changes at American? Well, it's your favorite airline, isn't it?
So, I mean, here's my gut instinct. So, you read all these forums and websites and whatever, and people are like, oh, great, Parker's out, right? What I think most people are forgetting, and I heard the tail end of what David Feldman was saying, Isom is just a carbon copy of Parker, right? They've been together now for who knows how many years. They've moved up, through the ranks with each other. Decisions were obviously bounced around between the two of them. And, I've spoken to a bunch of internal folks and external folks alike, and there's question as to where did these changes come from, right? Whether it's the Oasis seats and the densification and all the negative changes and whatnot, right? Was it Parker? Was it Isom? But, at the end of the day, Parker leaving is not just going to turn this airline around overnight. And so, the negative changes that we saw over the past few years are not going to get necessarily better with Isom. Now, that said, right, there's that, chunk. The only caveat is that what we saw happen with Scott Kirby at United, right? He got away from Parker. He got away from American as a whole. And he can be blamed for plenty of negative changes while at American. And all of a sudden at United, he's thriving. And the PR that's coming out of United now is just a world of difference. So there's hope. I mean, I guess that's what we can say.
Yeah, I think you're right. But at the end of the day, it feels like it's going to be an uphill battle with both employees and customers kind of feeling kind of the same thing, being in the middle of that. That has to be fixed. And I will be the first to come on record saying that the situation with Jeff Smisek at United back in 2013, 14 in the area after the merger with Continental and the Continental culture bullying its way into the United culture, and Smisek's CEO style. It's very similar. It's fixable, but it took United quite that many years to figure it out, because the Continental thing was like, you really don't need this. You don't need that good of a seat. 2 + 2 is fine, even if others are doing other things. You don't really need to make that many points. You don't even need to do. You don't need this. And it was a company that had the culture going like we decide what you like, and was never healthy for the United Flyer, especially for United Flyers like me. So I think that we've seen United change dramatically. We had a very sober and down to earth guy taking over in Oscar for a few years, and now we have Scott Kirby, who is the apprentice. I honestly it's very rare that I am extremely positively surprised. And we're repeating ourselves again here, but
Right.
at the end of the day, I feel like that's the gig. But let's talk a little bit about a little bit of American news while we're still on it.
Sure.
So looks like American are going to planning on flying JFK to Doha on the 77W, wing to wing with Qatar Airways and their Q suites. So are we seeing kind of with Hong Kong now being not in the mix anymore, and Hong Kong kind of being a difficult destination with COVID and with the Chinese bullying the country and all that kind of stuff? What is American trying to do? Are they trying to open up a new spearhead to go to Africa and Eastern sort of Southeast Asia? Is that the play here, or what do you think?
So here's where I think I'm a little confused, right? They tried the Casablanca stuff about 2 years ago. That fell through mainly because of COVID. I don't think there's any other reason why that fell through, because they were going to connect to Royal Air Maroc. Where I'm confused, I'm not necessarily confused in them flying to Doha. I think it makes logical sense. They want to make good on their promises from the code-share agreement with Qatar that were actually started, as Gary points out, prior to the pandemic. So I don't necessarily have a problem or question why they're flying to Qatar. What I question, and I think where I'm seeing the buzz online, is why are they flying there now, right? American has openly admitted in internal memos that are now public as day, that they don't have enough wide body aircraft, and so they're cutting all of these different international routes, right? So why all of a sudden are they taking a 777-300, flying it to Qatar, or Doha, which is already served by Qatar? That's what I don't understand why they're doing that now. I think that
the American flyers themselves, especially those who fly economy, are kind of happy about this change.
Sure.
Because then they can use their system wide, so upgrade.
Sure.
And
sure, but I certainly don't think American made this decision.
No, of course they didn't. But I think that the flyers are, what I've read online, the flyers are welcoming this.
Yeah.
From a business decision, I don't see it either. I just, to go to Asia, it's obviously, not the best gateway to get to anywhere, with Japan Airlines and Cathay Pacific being strong players without any baggage. But of course, Africa there are exciting things, but I find, Qatar more of a leisure route than, or anything Qatar related, more of a leisure route. I wouldn't, where would you go on a business trip? Maybe India. But there are, United flying nonstop to India from New York, and
right. And American now has the new Indian flight, and they've got their code shares now with I forget what the airline is, the
Bamboleo
cost carrier.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either. But at the end of the day, it feels to me like, where is the business traffic going? Definitely not the Middle East, for sure.
Yeah.
They've ironed out all the kinks with Saudi Arabia and the countries surrounding them, so there's no restrictions now anymore. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of junk going on with the country there. Anyways, like you have the all the controversy with the World Cup coming there, the controversy about the Norwegian journalists that were arrested here a couple of weeks ago, that hasn't been covered well in the press here, but has been covered very well in the press in Europe, and other things that makes it kind of. From besides that, I think it's great for somebody who wants to connect there to go to, whatever. But I kind of find the space that I want to redeem on Qatar Airways when I want it. I have never kind of had an issue with that. There really is lots of availability for using miles. And if you are wing to wing, who do I pick? Do I go American or do I go United? Oh no, do I go Qatar? That's a clear answer to that question. You don't even have to ask it who you're going to choose.
And if anybody's listening that's trying to find space, at least this is the way prior to the pandemic. Philly is a great spot for space on Qatar. So 2 hours south, just take the train down. If you can't find it at a JFK, grab Philly, because that's usually there, and Dulles usually has some decent space as well. So if that's worth it for anybody,
right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Hyatt. They have, So you remember I showed you those 12,000 points that posted out of nowhere? It actually was did you see that? I showed you that.
Yeah, you sent me. Yeah.
So it's a targeted promo that was in the last quarter. That's still going on, I think, and I got another 12,000 popped in there.
Really?
Yeah, it's somebody can probably help me here. We don't have as many live viewers. We only have like 14 people on right now, but maybe those who remember what that promo was. But it seems like Hyatt is kind of, I wouldn't call this the most aggressive promo I've seen in my life, but it's, decent. 2,000 points per 2 nights plus 1,000 if you use your co-brand credit cards.
Yep. If you do the math behind it, I don't know if you did, it's about 30,000 points when you max it out. So it's
right.
Category 1 through 7, essentially, once you max it out.
Right. I mean, it's just this, we're back to having sort of a run of the mill regular promo. I mean, at least it's something, because we've seen,
Right.
Marriott, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they haven't been doing very much at all through the last year and a half for you to, put any business that way. So I guess we would categorize this promo as being better than nothing.
Better than nothing. And I'll tell you what, Hyatt could have made this, quite penalizing for folks. The thing is every 2 nights, but they don't need to be consecutive. I remember Marriott had a promo not too long ago where it had to be every 2 nights, right? The 2-night stay, and not like Hyatt is. So I do feel that Hyatt is trying to at least, make this as generous as possible. No, certainly it's not the most generous promo ever, but for what it's worth, this is probably pretty easy to achieve, to max it out.
Right. It seems like, I feel like the highest with that targeted offer that I got, I feel Hyatt has been really rewarding for me in 2021. With the also mentioned here with the 1,000 American miles popping in every time I stay at a Hyatt. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, I think that this one is one to watch. Definitely sign up for that one, and make sure that you take a peek at that. So let's see here. What else did I find interesting? So speaking of earlier, I was going to actually mention this earlier, but for those who are on the Twitter, the cool kids are all on the Twitter. Check out Gary Kelly's video, Farewell to Doug Parker. That was the classiest thing I've seen in the wrong place. It wasn't really related to his departure, but it's kind of a cool video that was made for the Wings Club Foundation Distinguished Achievement Awards that he got. It's quite comical. I recommend everybody take a peek at that. It was pretty cool. So what else do we want to talk about? Oh yeah, Delta. They are on fire, offering some really good, redemption sharing for them. Let's pull up. I saw that they're having some really good special for those who like to redeem their Sky Miles.
You have a sick definition of
yeah, no kidding. So here you can fly from Austin to Rome or Lisbon for only 369,000 miles. That's a promo. And Gary calls it offensive.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with him on that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some decent, there are some decent gigs here, but at the end of the day, I mean, United and American, or what they are, this is, obviously a lot higher than what a standard award at any given time is on the website. But I thought that Austin to Lisbon to Rome and to Milan for 350, and that's a promo.
Yeah.
So it means it's 500,000 miles for one round trip ticket.
Here's the thing, though. People that are looking at this, to the untrained eye, I mean, they might somehow jump on this and think that's what it is. I mean, to us, obviously not. And like you said, those 148,000 mile things, that's above standard pricing at every other airline. So, I mean, I don't want to call that a deal. That's just standard.
So Gary, Judge Judy has a message for you. Delta, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. I think that pretty much sums it up right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, he likes to call him like he sees him. So who is he going to, now that American has a new boss, and he's been quite critical on American. Is he going to switch to Delta? We're just going to have to wait and see what he has to bring up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be the day.
One more thing I wanted to see that I kind of find interesting is a new service that you can pay for with United, the notification system, which is an avoidance of a middle seat avoidance system. Did you read anything about that?
Yeah, but I don't. Is there a charge behind it?
No, it doesn't look like there's a charge, but
Okay.
The app update will tell you that if you're in the middle seat, and that means that I'm sure that if you are not, I got to tell you, these seems like there's a little bit. Wow, they got a lot of ads on boarding area these days. Let's see here. So I think that in the app, there was just an app update I uploaded the other day that, it will tell you if there's another seat available if you're in the middle somewhere, which obviously I think is helpful. But at the end of the day, though, and that's obviously a revenue opportunity, because if that seat isn't free, they're probably going to make you pay for it.
Sure.
Normally, though, this is something that a gate agent on United, for those who fly United a lot, I mean, I've many times I've been in the middle where I've seen a proactive gate agent look at statuses and move you to a better seat when somebody gets updated. Okay, here he is. There's Tommy. There's a 1K in the middle. Let's move him to A Charlie in the bulkhead instead of whatever, right? Yeah. So here you obviously are notifying everybody. And you're notifying everybody that, it could, and I've noticed that I bought some tickets for some people that going to the Loyalty Summit, and also to some family members traveling cross country here for various holidays this fall. Those the seating fees are kind of crazy. I saw that myself. I don't have status with Delta, but I flew remember we were in Atlanta here about a month out.
Yeah.
That's to get that seat, to get the two-seater, get from the middle seat to a two-seater on a 767, an aisle seat in the two-seater, not the main cabin extra or whatever it's called, main cabin. No, what is it called? Comfort Plus.
Yeah.
Not that. It was just a regular seat. It was $79 for an aisle seat.
Really?
And emergency exit was $150 to go for 4.5, a little bit less than 4 hours from Atlanta to Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, this is a revenue opportunity for sure for those that don't have status. If you want to get out of that middle seat, and if I've ever heard of a literal a gun to your head type of opportunity to get out of the middle, that's pretty much it right there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't toyed around with this, and I guess I'd have to ask Matthew Clint. The only concern I'd have is, they present this offer to all 100 people on the plane. People start clamoring over it. Somebody doesn't get it. They become upset. Oh, why did the app crash? I don't know what systems are in place to prevent
I think that United are pretty high tech. Their tech is phenomenal these days, getting better and better. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I think that, there's going to be somebody that's, there's going to be more chomping at the bits at that bones, and then you're taking kind of away the opportunity from the gate agent to move somebody, right? The upgrade clears. There's of course, this happens before also. I don't know how, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything about the time windows for when it is. If it's all the way up until departure, I can see that it'll be problematic.
Sure.
But
hey, I give them credit, right? I mean, overall, I think it's a customer-friendly move. I mean, if they decide to charge for these seats or whatever, I mean, I think it's overall, I wouldn't necessarily, it's in your face,
absolutely
bad move. Yeah.
No, I agree. And there's also, you just got to be on it. Like, it's kind of the Southwest thing, checking in 24 hours before. When you get the notification, you got to be on it before somebody else snags it.
Sure. I wouldn't be surprised if this does become monetized. It might, a bunch of us pay for Expert Flyer or a service like that. There's clear monetization behind it. And, could you pay United, $10
I'm sure
a
that
month
the
or
people
whatever
without
to be
status
notified?
are going to be made to pay for the seat that they're not eligible for.
Sure.
I also noticed a thing that, traveling to Europe now, we were both in Europe. You were also working and helping us out in London for the Loyalty Summit there. There are also some interesting, fascinating opportunities that are showing up in regards to paying for upgrades and things like that, bidding for upgrades, not new or anything like that. But I noticed that SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, I took them from LAX to Copenhagen in business class, and from Copenhagen to London. So it's Euro style business, but they have SAS is a kind of drop business. They don't even block the middle seat like KLM did for a while. They didn't have the middle seat block. They have it again now. But SAS, they are now offering to buy that middle seat.
I think you said for what, $29? Was that what it was?
$29 from Copenhagen to London. So that's like with the mandatory 5-6 rounds over London before you get to land. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah,
which
sure.
I found, and I was like, take my money. I was in the first row, and I could block somebody out from being in the middle on a 737. Absolutely. And
was there a time restriction to that? You could only do it
I jumped on it like 3 or 4 days before. And it said humans before blocking a seat. So they can't take it away from you if the flight's oversold or something like that.
Okay.
So it's guaranteed. Actually, I got the whole row to myself. So that was how that's how that played out. So I guess
sure.
They have been good with star blocking, with Star Alliance Gold blocking the middle seat, like Lufthansa has been doing for many years. But SAS has also done that. Kind of looking at all sorts of, and that's kind of the trend we saw at both of the Loyalty Summit, is paid loyalty. It's not. We're moving more and more away from, take 100 flights, 120 flights with us, and you get top tier or whatever. Now it's like, yeah, we'll give you some of the stuff that we used to, but if you want the stuff, you can cut ahead of everybody by just paying a little bit of money.
Sure.
Because I wouldn't say that $29 is a lot of money.
No,
and
sure. Or having a credit card.
Right. Or nor would I say that my Delta flight from LA to Sacramento, where I don't have status, where it was $39 to be in first.
Right.
And with that came 2 checked bags. Not that I needed it, but what the hell is that? I mean, that was kind of weird. That seat, all obviously the that varies a lot, but at the end of the day, I've seen as a non-status guy on Delta from here to Minneapolis, it's either 99, 129 or 149. And, I showed up at the last time we were there in Minneapolis together. I showed up in Minneapolis airport with a coach ticket, and paid the 129, and there was 30, 40 people on the upgrade list.
Really?
So, that's, instead of, and it's just math, right? Do you want to really, now that the whole advantages of spend on I've spent this much money on American, now that that's wiped out, that's just one more nail in the coffin. We are talking about hashtag next gen loyalty here for sure. Right. Absolutely. So, all right. We're going to talk. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Jamie. I know you got a lot to do, and all the best to the kitty. And we'll make sure that we check in with that a little bit later today.
Awesome.
Okay. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you then.
Giddy up. All right. So the last piece we want to talk about today is what's going on with FTU and in 2022. As you know, 2020 was our last event. FTU event was in Washington D.C., and we had just made an agreement with the Travel and Adventure Show, and that was more of the fact to find it. The goal for us is to try and recruit new people to our hobby, and to get more people to be interested in and also lower the bar, not just the hardcore travel hackers, the guys that guys like us who've been doing this for ages, and the community. We wanted to expand our community and make sure that not just blog posts, blog followers and Facebook followers, but also in-person people who have an interest. It might be business travelers who have no clue of what's going on. We had that event in March of 2020, and then we came back to California, and 5 days later, we were sent to our rooms for a long period of time because that guy sneezed. And what's going to happen in 2022? So last year we did our membership, our annual membership. I thank you so much for the 1,300 people that signed up for that. It helped us a lot getting through the year. And we are going to renew and make sure, we know a lot of people weren't able to use their coupons for 2020 in 2021 and going to events. They didn't feel comfortable. They didn't want to do it and all that kind of stuff. And more sympathetic I could not be about that. And there's going to be an offer on your emails. What we're pretty much going to do for next year, I can tell you now. We are going to go back, and we've talked about this a lot. And I feel like we've had now 2 in-person events. We had our travel and adventure shows, and we had our new partner, and we also had loyalty summits with loyalty leaders, 270 of them in both the events that we had attend. And I've had 3 shots myself, and I feel 100% confident in showing up at events and doing events. And I think it's that kind of critical. I mean, I think it's good to hear that this new variant is covered, and that it's not as severe and that kind of stuff. And it's important to try and be careful. But at the end of the day, we're going to go for it in 2022. We're going to have 7 out of those popular. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to have 7 virtual Saturday FTUs like we did in 2021 or this year. Very popular. We've had over 10,000 views on those sessions that we've had. They are now soon going to be available before Christmas. They're going to be available to everybody online to see all of the sessions that are available. They're going to be uploaded to the membership portal that's there. Yes, Jill, we are extremely happy to see in-person events in 2022 for sure. So we're going to start in New York. And we're going the Travel and Adventure Show the last weekend of New York of January. It's the what used to be the New York Times travel show has now been snapped up during the pandemic of our partners in the Travel and Adventure Show. And we're going to have a stage in New York, an FTU stage in New York, where all members. FTU members get free complimentary access. So you just register on the website and you can come for free. And I'm also going to be there myself, and we're going to host a dinner as well, a welcome back sort of dinner for first come, first serve. If you're in town, if you live there like some of our friends do, we want to invite somebody to dinner. We can just hang out together and meet up. It's the 29th and the 30th of January. There's going to be sessions on Saturday, FTU sessions. They will be beginner sessions. So if you're a hardcore guy, come out anyways. If you're a member, it's complimentary. You register and you come for free. And we are going to make sure that it's a good welcome back. Then we move on to Chicago, which is just a week after. Chicago is our most popular town. Where we've had the most FTU of any towns, any cities, and we're going to be out by the airport at the Donald Stevenson Convention Center. We're going to have the same format as we had in DC. That means that we will have FTU sessions on the Travel and Adventure show floor. You don't have to go there if you don't want to have a big crowd, but it's complimentary. And then we are going to have a separate area on Saturday for where lunch is included, where there are multiple tracks and more advanced sessions for those who have been following the FTU for a while. That's going to happen in Chicago on February 5th and February 6th. And you're going to get an email before the weekend. Actually, you're going to get it on Monday because nobody reads emails on Friday. I've heard from the marketing crew, so it'll go out on Monday, where you'll get an overview of all these things. So if you don't want to write them down or rewind and see my ugly mug again, you can check that email on Monday. We're moving then on to March 12th and 13th in LA. We are going to be in LA for that weekend. For the 12th and the 13th, same setup. You can buy access to the advance, which is a one-day event on Sunday. It's a $129 minus the coupon that you guys, the members get for $50 or $49, where you take off $49. And we're also going to have a sale on that for those who are not annual members as well. Obviously, you don't save as much, but you save a little bit. It'll be downtown LA at LA Live at the convention center there. Upstairs on the floor above, there are big conference areas, and that's where we're going to host the separate FTU Advanced. Also trying to do a little thing. Maybe we'll get some tacos, a couple beers together, informal. I know that, 2022, there are still going to be some apprehension about traveling and meeting together. I think it's time after 2 years to kind of, as long as you're vaccinated and you're healthy, I feel like, it's time. Those are the main events that we have for the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, we are, of course, meeting at the Dallas signature event, the one that was postponed. We did the Travel and Adventure Show in Dallas. We were there. Not very crowded, unfortunately, but we did have a stage, some great session. We had Sinitra Holbrook. We had Matthew Clint come out from California to do some great sessions. And I got to tell you, the FTU stage was the most popular stage in the house, even with the big names, the celebrities speaking there in Dallas. So that's on April 2nd and 3rd. That's a separate event. There will be content at the show itself across the street, but this will be at the Hilton Garden Inn at the Dallas Market Center. So that will be the second and the third 2-day event. We're going to have a barbecue. We're going to, do Texas stuff. And, let's not, I saw there was a ton of comments on this about, Texas and politics and windmills and abortion. I know I hear you guys, and I totally agree with lots of what's said. But we have it's a big part of the country and the culture. And Dallas is a very liberal town. So even if you are I've never gotten so many, this is too much politics around all of this stuff. And I've gotten so many nasty emails about Dallas. Dallas is a liberal town. I went out to Scott McCartney. Don't you guys know? We had dinner together. Scott is a dear friend of ours. He's a liberal writer, but he writes for the Wall Street Journal. He's a great guy, fantastic journalist. It's been a friend of ours for a long, long time and support everything we do. It's a gorgeous town to hang out in. We're going to do the barbecue, and I hope we can see you guys in Dallas. The tickets are already on the website. The coupon is still valid there. If your membership is expiring, at least get that going before it does. And of course, we're going to do some for those who haven't been able to use our coupons. We're going to roll some of that over. You'll see the email on Monday on that. So those are the things we're going to do for the FTU. And we're also going to have a San Diego FTU, one of our most popular thing in the fall. We don't have the date yet. We want to wait and see a little bit how these events go. But I hope to see you guys, just to see you again. So there's going to be 7. There's going to be to conclude again. There's going to be 7 in the months where there's no events. We're going to have virtual events, which is a new thing, and it's something that we didn't plan on having as a part of the annual membership for those who want to support the FTU and stuff like that. But we're going to continue doing we're going to continue doing that, and to do the in-person and let me find those dates for you again so we can look it up and see where we're going to be at, where the virtual events are. Our virtual events are January 22nd, already on the website. If you're a member, complimentary, just go and sign up for that. April 9th, we're skipping. Actually, it's the weekend after Dallas, but we had it on the schedule already. May 14th, June 11th, and then we're taking a summer break, September 17th, October 29th, and December 3rd. all complimentary for those who are there. And you can also, now that we're updating the online portal, you can go back and you can take a peek at all the sessions we did during the pandemic. They're going to be available for all members when you log on into the course area to see those. And we're going to continue to upload those in the months to come. And then for the in-person stuff, New York, January 29th and 30th, not going to be in advance, just the show at the Travel and Adventure Show for that. But Chicago, the week after, on February 5th and 6th, we're going to have a one-day FTU Advanced. It's priced at $129 minus whatever coupons eligible for that. And in addition, the Travel and Adventure Show. Then in LA on March 12th and 13th. And then, of course, in Dallas again on April 2nd and 3rd. And then, we'll do the community event in the fall. So those are the things we have planned to do. And of course, the annual membership, we also have something very exciting that we've had in the works. We've had some major IT issues. Like literally, I'm not going to lie to you, it's been lack of resources getting this project done. But happy to say that there's going to be lots of interesting benefits. Which includes, among other things, we just made an agreement with Toomey and Samsonite with a distributor that they have. So as an FTU supporter, you will be getting up to 50% off, a minimum of 25% off of various Toomey, Samsonite, Zero and Bricks types of luggages. That's also coming up as news in the newsletter that's going to come out on Monday. So that's all the news. If we don't have too many people doing it live, only 14 people total in the various portals right now, so I don't see a lot of questions. But if there are any, feel free to shoot us an email. You can send it at info@ft.events. For more questions there, go on the Facebook group, the Frequent Travel University community on Facebook. If you have questions there too, open up a thread and be a little bit more engaged. It's been a little bit dead in there lately. Stop by and share what interests you too, please, so we can get a little bit back to swing of things. And I will see you. Actually, we're not going to have one on Thursday, but the week of Christmas, so we're planning on doing a live show. Like a Zoom call that we were planning on doing before Thanksgiving that didn't work out. But this time I promise we're going to try and do that. We'll send an email out to all supporters where we can get online and chat together on a Zoom call and right before the holidays to get some social aspect going. All right, that's the wrap for this week. That's Making American Great Again to what's new in the FTU and everything in between. I hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you the week before the week of Christmas. Keep an eye on this space. We'll post the information when that session is supposed to go live. But that will be like a Zoom event, so we're going to try and do that instead of doing this. So enjoy the rest of your week and the weekend, and be safe out there. Thank you.